is
This
what you'll
David
find.
Cross, I have no idea what we're going to be looking at here, but I'll tell you, there's nobody else that I'm so happy when I see him in.
Cast.
Oh, I didn't even know he had one.
It's relatively new, and David Cross obviously is very, very far left guy. And even in this episode, he's one of these guys that talks about, like, if Trump gets in office, he's never gonna. He kind of like smugly says, like, people think he's gonna leave office, he'll be in for 6 more terms or whatever the fuck. Like,
Crazy.
he's a little crazy and radical, and so that's why when someone recommended to me, this is another Warthog recommendation. When he recommended it, this episode to me, I thought it was just going to be a complete douche fest because David Cross had the guy from Pod Save America, which, by the way, Pod Save America, very left-leaning podcast.
Oh yeah,
Their hosts are Jon Favreau and Jon Lovett.
not the real ones.
I understand that. Yeah,
Jon
but that's
Favreau went to my high school.
extraordinarily coincidental.
Jon Favreau, Jon Favreau went to my high school and then went and wrote for Obama.
Did you know?
Wow.
him?
I didn't know him. No.
Not before me. And then Jon Favreau and Jon Lovett. So Jon Lovett, in fact, the Warthog tells me, like, hey, you should listen to David Cross's latest podcast. And when I saw it, I thought like he misspelled it in the title or something. I was like, Jon Lovett is on? Why am I watching this?
Real quick, why can't I click this? Hobo Stabber, $2. I want Hack Ride.
No. Hack Ride is in
Timeout.
Great Beyond.
Melissa, $5. I love Hack Ride.
I meant Casey Day, damn it, I misspoke.
Manny Muskets, $2. David Cross was my favorite part of Pootie Tang. And I love Hack Ride.
He did not say that.
No, he
David Cross is great, but his perception of time must be a little off. You know, it's strange he would think that Trump would last longer in office than any of the shows that he's been a part of.
Well, so that's what I thought too. I thought he was going to be like a complete smug asshole on here, which maybe from Jon Lovett's perspective he was. But I thought David Cross was actually hilarious in this interview because he just fucks with this Jon Lovett guy the entire episode. I mean, they get into it. Like, I wouldn't advise Craig watch it because there is a lot of what Craig would describe as nauseating political discussion. Mm-hmm. But if you watch
Especially
these
today.
clips, if you watch these clips, yeah, he'd be shitting his brains out. But if you watch these clips, David Cross was very funny throughout this interview, and it makes you happy that, like, as crazy as some of these guys get, you're like, okay, David Cross still does have that muscle. He's still a funny guy.
But it was pretty bad, and then I still got paid, but I didn't really have.
Oh, this is, by the way, like, they've been on for 5 minutes. And I think this is where you could see David Cross be like, okay, I'm just going to fuck with this guy. They've been on for 5 minutes. They're clearly doing a show. And then Jon Lovett seems a little confused here.
Be there, as it were.
It's a great gig. That's a great gig. That's a great gig. No, I couldn't speak for a second. Are we in? Is this happening? Are we in the pod?
Yep.
Great.
Yeah.
I love that for us.
Yep. You happy?
I feel great.
Okay, good. All right, we're officially going.
Yeah, so you hear David Cross be like, I think this is a guy that'll be easy to fuck with, kind of.
Yeah, I think so. Next, we have the authors.
Okay, so Jon Lovett is on promoting this book, and it just, like, it seems like an incredibly pompous book to write. It's like rules to voting, basically, or rules to democracy or something. You'll hear David Cross promote it here, but he's caught up in something that he can't get past in John's book promotion.
And who's Josh Holloway?
Josh Holloway.
Why does he get a tiny little print?
Well, it's with him.
Yeah.
He's with us.
Why? How
But
much? Josh.
He did a lot.
John.
Josh did a lot.
Okay, that's what I was about to ask. He did a lot. So why is his name tinier and underneath everybody?
Well, because it's with him.
Well, why don't you just get rid of the word with?
Well, that's a contractual thing, I think.
Well, why didn't you have it part of the contract? Why didn't you be democratic, as it were, equitable, fair,
Mhm.
just,
Yeah.
and give the guy credit where credit's due.
It's a great
Well,
point.
We didn't want to because we wanted it to be more about me, John, and Tommy, and less about Josh.
Well, I
So
appreciate your honesty. Why didn't you
because
just say
they-
that in the beginning instead of dancing
Well, because
around
I didn't know what kind of fucking hardball Jake Tapper shit I was going to get from you.
That's hardball? Is that hardball?
No.
Is it Wolf Blitzer?
No.
You can tell Jon Lovett is never comfortable throughout this whole interview. He can't tell if David's fucking with him or not. And David is just like, why? He's just shitting all over his book the whole time. Like, I think we have him reading some of the rules, and he's just like to his face, openly mocking Jon Lovett.
Steps.
Yeah, so this is my favorite when David is talking, because this book is written so smugly, and it's about like democracy and things, but it's written in this kind of condescending way where he's talking down to the audience, or maybe he's talking down to the people that the book isn't for, I guess. But David Cross pretty much rips it apart here.
So let me see. Oh, here we go. Wait.
Oh, by the way, already just reading someone's book in front of them is insulting them.
Right.
Like, if you're gonna thumb through the pages of your guest's book, you're basically like, I'm fucking with you, just so you know, because it's so uncomfortable.
Is this a show format anywhere? This is a great idea to have a guest and just read their book in front of them.
David, I think you might be the perfect guy for that, actually. I think you're onto something.
I have to start reading.
You start reading and get some guests lined up.
Well, actually, I don't know if reading is important. It doesn't seem like David Cross did.
I'll take some
That's
notes.
true. He didn't pre-read it. He's just reading it live on air.
So let me find step. Oh, this does look fun. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Step 9. All right. So step 7. Give yourself a break.
Oh, that's nice. That's a nice
Pop a
one.
squat for a beat, kids. Elder millennials are speaking. Let me redo that.
Ugh.
Pop a squat for a beat, kids. Elder millennials are
Well,
speaking.
here's what's funny, Craig. I think David Cross, and this is what I was surprised by. This is why I found the interview interesting. David Cross aligns with this guy politically, and yet I think he still had the same reaction to this book.
Yeah,
He's like, ugh, why are you talking to us like this?
that's disgusting.
This far, which means you've done a lot, but it doesn't feel like enough, and you're wondering if it ever will. And that means it's time, ellipsis, to do nothing. Look, politics is a slog.
He's just insulting him to his face, insulting his work.
All right. Work on a
I hope
campaign.
David does the audiobook.
That'd be great.
Oh, I know Ben Wickler.
Yeah.
I did some work for him. Good guy.
Yeah, he is.
Stuff.
We'd be
in Wisconsin.
We'd be in better shape if all state party chairs were like Ben Wickler.
Yeah. Well, he single-handedly lost the Clinton presidency. Yeah, I'm willing to go there.
I don't think that's true. I don't think you can.
I don't want anybody to mistake.
I don't think you can put it. You're very dry. I don't think you know.
Yeah, you're right,
You're very dry.
You're absolutely right.
Look,
This Jon Lovett guy is so. Yeah, David's like, yeah, I am. I've been dry for 40 years. That's how I've made a career. You're on my show. What did you think I was going to do? Praise your book, your dumb book?
Like, sit down. Older millennials are talking. That's disgusting.
That's why I was happy. The Warthog messaged me and said you should check out this interview, and I was like, I don't know how much I feel like watching two liberals have a progressive off with each other. But then, when I saw what David Cross was doing, I was like, oh, so he's still a funny guy. Like, he could see this book, no matter what his political views are. If he 100% agrees with this guy or think he doesn't go far enough or whatever he thinks, he can still be funny. Like, open this book and read it for what it is.
He was unbelievable in Scary Movie 2 also.
Well, I mean, he's great in Arrested Development. He's very funny.
I kind of liked the writing in the book, Craig. It kind of reminded me of Dr. Seuss.
I don't know if that's what Jon Lovett was going for, but
no, this is David Cross being passive aggressive.
Okay. Well, according to Jon Lovett, anyways. But let's see how David handles it.
Is what it sounded like.
Yeah, it sounded like she was.
I see.
It sounds like you were saying she's not here.
Yeah, you can't tell at home, but I looked at him when I said that.
Right. So it sounded like she wasn't here, but what people didn't realize is that was a kind of passive aggressive way of asking her to chime in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think aggressive is a bit strong. I don't think it was aggressive.
No, passive aggressive. That's what that mediates the aggressiveness.
Not really. Not. I don't think so. I don't think that's how people take it. When
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's still a derogatory kind of.
No, it's 100% derogatory.
Yeah, so,
no, I'm not saying it's. No, I'm not.
So it doesn't mitigate aggressive.
Well, something can be derogatory and not as derogatory. So it.
Sure. Yeah, by degrees. Yeah,
that's
not
what I was saying.
That's
the point I was making.
Okay, so then we have to qualify the mitigation of how effective was the mitigation.
Well, that's a different
not effective
point.
At all.
I think it would no, not as effective as you wanted it to be.
Oh, true. Yeah, I can't say
like
at
if
all.
If I had said like you're being aggressive, that's I think a bit worse than saying you're being passive aggressive.
I disagree.
Okay, you think
because then I can completely refute it going, what are you talking about? I'm not being aggressive. But if you say passive aggressive, you go, yeah, but then you have to qualify passive aggressive, which we've been doing for the last, 2 minutes.
Yeah. And people love
that. I am not sure that this will ever air.
Oh.
He's just fucking with him the whole time. And you can tell Jon Lovett is never comfortable. He's trying to go along with the bits at times, but you can tell the difference between like a funny guy and an unfunny guy.
Oh, he's searching for something to hold on to, definitely. He's like, you're being passive-aggressive with me, right? And he's just, please, give me a line.
Yeah. You can tell the difference between a guy who's hilarious and a guy who is like, what am I doing here? I came to the wrong place to promote this dumb book.
Yeah, this isn't going to sell very many copies.
How many bottles of water does he get through this podcast?
I'm not sure.
Is this good? Question mark.
This is like cringy. Where again, I think Jon Lovett is trying to match David. Jon Lovett is not a good straight man for David Cross. You know, there's a skill to that Jon Lovett I don't think quite masters and just comes off very douchey.
Wait. We deliver more than just a car. Bill Spreen Toyota. We deliver.
Nice.
Yep.
That's beautiful.
Remember that one?
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Unclaimed freight in Hapeville.
Mm-hmm. Do you think? Yeah.
Unclaimed freight in Hapeville.
Yeah. Are there any more, or do you think?
Let me think of one, and then when you start going, I'll interrupt you with it.
I think Joe Biden's doing a really great job, and
knock knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting cow.
Interrupting.
No.
Do you like talking to me? Like, are you enjoying this conversation? Do you think, do we have a rapport? Because I
gotta make my own fun.
I naturally match the person I'm sitting across, their energy. that's sort of like instinctively, that's what I do. So I'm
it
trying
shows
to match your energy. I feel like I'm doing it.
Very kind of chameleon-esque.
Yes. There's a
word
dryness to it. It's sophisticated. It is.
Do you think I'm cute?
Do I think you're cute? Yeah, I do think you're cute. I think you're cute.
Thank you, Emma. See?
Yeah.
It never gets comfortable. Like Jon Lovett never finds a groove in this interview.
Democracy or else.
Or else. Uh-oh.
There's like 20 minutes in the middle where they actually start talking politics, and that's just the part I fast forwarded through. And that's the only time that David will actually like not fuck with Jon Lovett because he wants to get his points out. Anytime that Jon Lovett gets like serious, David is like, I have no interest in hearing what you have to say.
Really dismissed him as, I think, a younger man. Is it really what he probably is insulted by the language in the book, saying, "Hey, why don't you write something that I can read? Who are you for?"
Yeah, I think he thinks the book is douchey, and I think he didn't really want to seriously promote it to his audience because he probably figures they would think the same thing.
When you tell people to sit down and listen to you, you're a pompous dickhead.
But Jon Lovett is one of these guys. He seems to. I know very little about Pod Save America, but from the little I've seen of him, he seems like a guy that tries to do that as a joke. Like, hey, older millennials are speaking. Imagine if I was that big of a douche. But he also is kind of that big of a douche. So the character doesn't work really, you know?
Take a load off. Lend me your ear. There's nicer ways to say it.
I would think so, David.
This next one is, do you like me?
It just never gets comfortable. And I love David Cross for it. He never lets him find his footing.
That's how you have to say it. So it's Democracy or Else, How to Save America, and 10 Easy Steps from the hosts of Pod Save America.
That's us.
Jon Favreau, Jon Lovett, Tommy Vietor, with Josh Holloway.
That's perfect. That's great. That's exactly how you say it.
And
Well, because we host the show, right? So it's
whatever, dude.
It's a book from the show.
Whatever,
I don't need to explain myself to you.
Yeah.
I don't need to explain fucking
Then
shit
don't.
to you. I'm not.
You just were. You're not because I stopped you. Step 1, be prepared.
Yeah, that's right.
Step 2, get informed. Step 3,
He's openly mocking the steps.
Yeah,
Now,
that's a little joke. That's a little joke.
All right. Step 4, the buck starts here.
Do you like me?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
That's why.
no.
Great. Keep going.
Yeah.
That is, I will say this, as much as we're mocking Jon Lovett here, I relate to the feeling of like, this guy's making fun of me, but like, is it in good fun or does he fucking hate me? Like, I can empathize with that feeling, but I think it's pretty clear that David Cross just doesn't care about this guy and is looking for ways to kill time until the hour's up.
You'll have a little confidence in your book. He might as well say, I didn't really write that part. It was somebody else. It was my co-host. It's actually that Tom guy you keep bringing up.
Yeah, you can tell he's embarrassed by it because he's not standing by anything and going, no, it's actually very funny. He's like embarrassed by the whole thing. And to say, that's a real like Jeb Bush moment. That was tough to watch. Craig?
Have you ever said that, Craig?
No, I don't.
No.
Are you actually dying?
I don't get granular with it.
Wow.
Yeah, I have to keep leaving to go to the bathroom. Oh, Casey Day's here.
Don't worry, Mike. I'm here for you, baby.
Thank God! Casey Day to the rescue.
He left already.
Yes or no?
We'll be joining Casey later.
Yeah, just backstage, whenever you.
All right.
Pass fail here. This is pass fail for me.
Okay. Step 5, volunteer. Step 6.
I like you, by the way. You didn't ask, but I do like you.
Well, I don't care. Step 6.
Don't care at all.
No.
That's when David just gets purposely cunty. Well, I don't care. I don't care about you and your dumb book.
You shouldn't care either.
No, again, these are two guys that have the same political views, and I think Jon Lovett thought that meant that they're equals, and David Cross is making it very clear. Oh no, like there's some topics we agree on, but I don't like respect you in any way.
It was like 3 or 4. I was like, there were a few moments where, oh, right. Like that's a kind of, it was still, there were still those guys that were of a generation where it was like a secret, but not a well-kept secret.
Right. Well, there's still
plenty of those. Yeah.
So I think it's been a while and I haven't asked this question yet. Israel versus Palestine.
Right. Big topic for sure. Definitely.
Where do you stand? Where do you fall in this?
Where do I fall on that topic?
Yeah. Israel v. Palestine.
Right.
I don't want to say versus. I think that's not the right way to.
I think framing it as a versus is probably not.
That's not
where you want it to be.
Exactly what
that's why I just say V, which I know is short for versus, but it sounds it's more vis-a-vis.
I am a progressive Jewish person, and it is very difficult to reconcile the conflicting feelings of being someone who wants to support a Jewish state and a democratic.
We'll edit out all the pauses in between.
For sure.
I didn't want to. I knew obviously where it was going, so I didn't want to interrupt the clip. But the whole time, I'm just thinking, like, why is he talking like this?
Because he wants to be like, I support Palestine, but I am Jewish, and you're kind of killing all my family.
He's incredibly nervous about everything he's saying, so he's being very careful with each word and making sure that it's the right thing that his people won't cancel him for. And David Cross is just sitting there. Get to the fucking point, man.
On this topic, you think I should just fucking spout off on this? You think there's not enough of that? You think there's too many people
I think there's
being careful about how they speak about this, and not enough people just saying whatever the fuck comes to their head? That's your view on this topic. Your view on this topic is not enough people are taking their time.
Asking me a question.
No, I feel like I'm taking my
me.
power back. No, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm being crazy.
No, I would like more people to not be so careful. Yes.
It's David's like, Jesus Christ, get to the point, man. Like, that was an obnoxious way to have a conversation. Can you imagine someone talking that slow? It's fucking crazy. And good for David for being like, yeah, we'll edit around this.
I think they should do what they did in whatever they did in Korea. They just drop a bunch of bombs in between and a mile in between, and then you just have no interaction because there's too many bombs in the way.
Damn straight, brother.
This is our last clip here.
Oh, goody.
Also, if you want to continue with Casey Day, we don't even have to end the stream, but if you need a break, then I would start a new one.
Okay. All right, we'll talk about that in a moment. But let's play this clip first.
John.
Yes.
Of Pod Save America. Which John are you?
I'm Jon Lovett.
Okay, Jon Lovett. Of Pod Save America and the new book, Democracy or Else, How to Save America in 10 Easy Steps. The bulk of it was written by Josh Holloway. Let's give a shout out to him.
Shout out to Josh. And one thing I want to say about the book, which what?
Just
enjoying the bag?
Yes.
Openly laughing at this guy's book.
See, look at this. We're getting a full laugh from David Cross just from the blurbs on the back. This is a funny book.
Okay.
He's just mocking him to his face, and Jon Lovett doesn't know what the fuck to do with it. It's such an uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah, it sounds like a terrible book too.
Well, that's what that's the part that I love is that in Jon Lovett's mind, it feels weird to say. Yeah, that's the ticket. In Jon Lovett's mind, this book should be for David Cross. And David Cross is going like, "Oh, I mean, I'm a crazy liberal, but I'm not an asshole. Like, you can't just spoon feed me horse shit.
And you can't tell
me to like it.
Tell David Cross that it's a funny book. That's a guy that knows comedy. Don't try to say that you're getting in his territory, of course.
Yeah. If nothing else, you can pour whatever liberal dreck down his throat that you want, but you can't be like, this is funny, and expect David Cross to be, oh, yes, hilarious.
Cyborganic, $5. David Cross once went on the official podcast with Critical, and he took his dog for a walk during the episode.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. So was that the last clip from David Cross?
Yep.
Yeah, I enjoyed that podcast. I would say we clipped all the good parts. If you align with Craig politically, you probably don't want to listen to the whole thing. It might be a little nauseating for you. I found the best stuff. I found the meat.